Hello, and welcome to another edition of Shed Kitchens, the channel where we show you the simple way to make the best dishes that you love. In today's episode, we'll be making the perfect pizza. And while we're on the topic of pizzas, if you didn't know, they originated from Italy. In 1889, created by a man named Esposito, it was the first margherita pizza. When he was called upon by the Italian king, Umberto I. In today's episode, though, we'll be making a pepperoni pizza. First of all, safety first. We've cleared our environment so we don't trip on anything, and we have oven gloves somewhere for when we're handling the pizza tray out of the oven at 200 degrees preheated. For our hands, we need to wash them so we don't get any germs on the utensils or the ingredients that we'll be handling throughout the show. Now, how about we check everything is here. For our first addition to the family, we have table salt. Table salt will be used for the making of the dough for the base of the pizza. Next up, we have the Parmesan cheese, which will be used as one of the toppings after the tomato puree is put on the base. Very nice cheese, freshly sliced out of the packet from Tesco's. Next up, tomato puree. As I mentioned, once the base is created, this will go on the base to give the cheese something to stick to, even though the base is going to be pretty sticky itself. Now, we have plain flour for the work surface. We are going to be sprinkling it over the work surface so the dough that we make doesn't stick to the tabletop. Otherwise, we're going to have a big mess to clean up. For our second set of toppings, we have pepperoni slices. We will be getting decorative with these, possibly, but you can do whatever you want after the cheese is applied. Finally, we have our warm water, 200 milliliters, which will be used in the dough mix. For our cutlery, first up, we have the pizza cutter. Don't get a paper cut on this thing. I know what that experience is like. Then we have 2 tablespoons, which will possibly be used at some point, but we might not need them because we have 2 teaspoons, which will be used for the salt and the yeast, which I will introduce very quickly. We have 1 packet of yeast. Forgot to mention this, but this is also used for the dough. Then we have a metal fork, which will be used to stab the base once it's created. A wooden spoon, which will be used for mixing everything together once we have put it all into the bowl. A rolling pin, which will be used to spread out the dough on the table after we've made it. Finally, a palette knife, which will be used to spread the tomato puree across the base. Then we have the table salt in a bowl, just so it's easier to scoop out in the teaspoon. Don't want to be sprinkling that around because it will create quite a mess. And then, finally, we have our 302 grams of flour for the mixing. Again, this is bread flour, not plain flour, which is used for the base worktop. Now, we can get right into this. First of all, we want to take our teaspoon and take 1 teaspoon of salt, put it into the bowl, along with our packet of yeast, which has yet to be opened. And that needs to be a teaspoon as well. I will do my best here. Rather tricky. There we go. Voila, yeast applied. Now, put this in with the flour. Flour will be first, 300 grams. Why am I using that? 300 grams of flour into the bowl. You don't have to apply it slowly. Just mix the 3 ingredients that you have in the bowl already, and it should be fine. It's a rather messy job. I apologize. flour is rather interesting. First, we went with flour first because, well, it was my choice. I prefer to do it over the water first, but you can do it that way if you want to. I'm doing it my way though. So that is the yeast of our concerns. Once the water is applied, the mixture should begin to solidify and take a slimy form, as you can slowly see. Rather interesting, if I must say. Once it takes that slimy form, you know you're on the right track, and your base is on its way to becoming what you need it to be. Be sure to get all the flour off the sides. You want to get it as perfect as possible. And you should see the wet substance begin to fade away, and it should become more of a plain substance like this. Once it is that plain substance, it should be good to go. After you have created that abomination, you want to get a tea towel. I'll leave you there for now. And apply it to the bowl for 30 minutes. It should double in its size and it will be ready to be rolled out on the surface. I, however, cannot wait 30 minutes for it to rise up, so I have a pre-made dough ball right here. Before we begin rolling that out, sprinkle some flour on the surface so we can limit how much stickiness is on the table and the rolling pin. Right there. There we are. Apply it to the tabletop. Use your hands if you want to. It may look like it will break apart, but it won't break apart, trust me. I'm a professional. Now, it looks reasonably okay. Roll it out into almost circle. It won't really want to take the form that you want it to, and it won't satisfy your OCD. Many have told me, and I have tried plenty of times. It is a difficult task, believe me. But what is needed for this part is patience. And who knows, I might be the first person with a pizza that looks like a Christmas tree. Because to me, that's what it looks like it's going to turn out as. All right then. Not a perfect pizza here on Shed Kitchens, but the show must go on. So, if you have your pizza base, and if the tomato puree jar is good to you, you can get it open. Now, take your tomato puree, plop it onto the pizza, and because my pizza base has turned out like it has, I have to be careful that I don't go too far to the edges, otherwise it will just spill out. Tomato puree has a rather nice smell. It's satisfying to the ears as well, as I'm sure you've noticed. Is this even a pizza anymore? I'm not even sure. Apply the tomato puree as evenly as you can. Once the tomato puree is applied, you are free to start putting on your cheese. This is a really messy job. We'll go in there, and we'll go in there. Shall I move to the side here? Now, for the cheese, we want to sprinkle it again evenly, as possible. Don't be afraid to get your worktop as messy as you can. Cheese can be difficult to mold as well. A pizza that looks like a Christmas tree. Who would have thought? Parmesan cheese is one of the nicer cheeses, I feel. And I like to have a lot of cheese as well. So that should be good enough for me. Now, all you have to do is open up your pepperoni slices. That is a very satisfying smell. Spread them evenly across your pizza. They can be difficult sometimes, but they will come out, no matter how much they try to stay in. You can use any kind of topping for a pizza. If you're one of those people that likes to have pineapple and ham, for example. Ham and pineapple, that's a good example. People like to have ham and pineapple. Right, here we go. Now, once everything is applied to the pizza, you can attempt to take it off the work surface without ruining it. I have a plan here. Seeing how the pizza on Shed Kitchens didn't go exactly according to plan, this will go in the oven, preheated to 200 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, then your pizza will be ready for you to eat. And I can't wait 20 minutes, so here on the set, I have a better pizza, pre-made, store-bought. And again, you can have any kind of topping that you want. I'm one of the people that decides to have bacon and chicken. Sometimes I have ham and pineapple, other times I am a huge fan of pepperoni pizza. I appreciate you sticking around to watch Shed Kitchens, and I hope you enjoy your day. Magnifico! Tune in next time on Shed Kitchens to see what we get up to next. Hopefully we don't create another abomination. See you next time, and goodbye.